you. And I will tell them, okay, yes, my office is at CC Hub, you can come over to CC Hub. And they will come to the co-creation hub, and I'll take them to the rooftop. And the rooftop was a public space. Little did they know that I had no access to the building. I was just, trying to survive. And they'll come, we'll have meetings, and they'll be impressed. And that was how I started making little money, little funds. And then I remembered that during that homeless phase, one thing came to my mind. Like, I don't see any reason why any human being should have the intention, it's a sincere intention to create value, positive value to their communities, and then be deprived of it or lack the right infrastructure, the right systems to support that individual. I had very low self-esteem. I had no clothes. I guess I was the only thing I think that lacked clothes, because you're barely making money, so you can't afford to just spend on clothes.
That's right. Yes.
And I had no shoes. I just had a leather footwear that was really. I was like, no, I can't go there like this. I can't go there like this. So my life kicked off. For me, that was when I was born. That was when I was born, and.
That was a very nice it's a struggle, but it's still a very nice way to evolve, I would say.
Honestly, because I never thought I could survive through. I never thought I could see the end of 2017. I never thought I could see the end of 2018. This is my life, I just thought I was just waiting for it to end. I thought that was it. I thought that was it. Well, it's actually, I'm grateful for.
Well, if I would encapsulate in one word, it would be serve. Serve. Often we are always clouded by our personal challenges, that we are blinded to the sufferings of others. Unknowingly, the solutions or answers to our prayers is our ability to help others, relieve others of their sufferings.
That's right.
And I think that's for me, that's actually what worked for me. Because if I had been so focused on my business, and let me see, this all I've been through, life has been so difficult to me. I don't care about people have abandoned me, people have betrayed me and all of that, and I'd lost everything, and just turn the blind eye to the sufferings of others. Probably I would not have gone for that competition. I think close to 2,000 applications in my email, to the point that my email, I stopped receiving so many emails jammed. I started getting people were reaching out to me on social media like, sir, our emails are not going through. I'm like, yeah, it's overwhelming. That should tell you the will of the people to want to create something. So the opportunity that you have here, it's an opportunity for you to give back. Not just to give back, but it's an opportunity to see what what you did not benefit from your own country, from your government. You now have an opportunity to be at that position, although not being elected, but you have the resources now to empower people in the way that you wish you were empowered. And that's actually my message too. Don't forget home. It's not just about going home and building a house back home in your respective countries, having cars there, or helping just your family members. No. It's thinking about the society at large.
Yeah, so David, welcome to Inspire Network. And especially, you are the first guest I have into this Inspire Warriors show, because I think your story is heroic. And not because you are a superstar of some sort, it's just because you have made decisions that so many people are thinking about making in their lives. So welcome, and I'm very interested to hear your story. You know that we met in LinkedIn just after you published your 2018 to 2021 comparison picture. And that to me was like, oops, there are so many people running through this line of life at the moment. And here is a person introducing himself. I think it's wiser to welcome this person to speak to the world and to the community about how did he go about and how the life has been going on. So feel free and welcome to the channel. And please introduce yourself and let us know a little bit about your story.
Well, first of all, I'll say thank you, Conrad, for the invite. So, like I said earlier, I've actually received several invites, back in Nigeria from across the world. Why I honored just one because I'm not used to being out there. So I did a bit of the background study on these different organizations and individuals, and I said, okay, I think Conrad is up to something, and it would be great to have my story on this platform. It may not be, among one of the most popular platforms in the world, but I could actually see a trend of excellence, and it's something that it's a story I want to be associated with. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here. So my name is David Owumi. I currently reside in the United Kingdom, in England precisely. University of Bradford. I was recently recruited just at the completion of my master's program in sustainable development. So I guess I graduated with a distinction, and having done several projects, with the University of Bradford and also with the Bradford Council, that's the government on environmental sanitation, inclusive development. I guess they found reasons to retain me to work here, and it's been an amazing experience. In January, I would commence my PhD, which will be fully sponsored by the university as well. And it's been a roller coaster. So I'm also director of Salt Out. I have a not-for-profit back in Nigeria, where I'm originally from. And basically what we do is we try to advocate for inclusive development. We have teams across 13 states in Nigeria, and that would also include Sierra Leone and Benin Republic. We go down to rural communities, marginalized societies, to carry out infrastructural, surveys, to find out what the people lack in terms of the human capital. What can they do? What do they have? And how can we, partner with other international organizations, private institutions to close that development gap? And that it's not often discussed. It's not the typical approach, the typical not-for-profit approach of going down to a community and trading ball or taking pictures. But we believe that if we're going to address issues such as inclusion, data is really important, and not just any form of data, getting valid data that would help us understand what the different social gaps are in our whole development makeup, and then address this in a systematic way. So that's basically what we do at Salt House, which is the Institute for Inclusive Governance and Sustainable Development back in Nigeria. I actually manage that virtually from here in the UK. I have my team back in Nigeria doing that. And what else about me? I think that's about it. I recently got an appointment as a member of the advisory board for Life Beyond Disability. It's for persons with disabilities. So from all I've been saying and from following me, I'm sure you understand that inclusion is actually a watchword for me. It's what I live for. And so, that presented me with an opportunity to, extend my, my reach beyond just, rural and urban development, trying to, urban development, but also reach different social groups in the world. Basically, it's what else? I think that's about it. I'm just a very simple, up and coming guy. Just trying to make life better for people because I know what it is to lack. And thank you again for bringing me to.
That's right. Do I understand that you started as a tailor? You were doing...
Oh, yes. So my clothing story. So I'm born into a family of 4 kids. I am happen to be the second. And growing up, my dad, had some more financial challenges growing up. So my mom had to uptake the responsibility of, catering for our education. So when I got into the university, I studied mathematics and education, my first degree. So I wanted to be independent. I wanted, my mom, she didn't have so much. She was a civil servant. She's retired now. And so I wanted her to focus on my siblings while I, just forged ahead in my life. So I learned tailoring, alongside pursuing the first degree in mathematics and education. So I was through, I was able to rent a kiosk, on campus where I made clothes for, my lecturers, for my friends. And I was really optimistic about the future. Then after at the end of my program, my first degree, my undergraduate program, I relocated to Lagos, the city, the economic capital of Nigeria, where I'm from, with big dreams, of leveraging technology to disrupt the fashion industry space. And as life would have it, I lost everything. There were so many, there are so many things that we will not be able to address, say this is exactly what happened, but I found myself at the lowest point in my life. A point where I was relegated to the point of having my bath like maybe once, twice in a week. And I have to bathe in the homes of, strangers, people I barely know. I have to beg them to use the bathroom. I was sleeping in a kiosk that was provided by a friend's brother, without windows. I was just sleeping down the floor.
Yeah.
And I was able to get myself a sewing machine, a sewing machine. I just started from the ground up, started making just to survive. But and during that time, that was within 2016 down to say 2018. And within that time, it was so bad. I actually attempted suicide twice. I'm not proud of it. I'm grateful that it did not go through. Because I never thought that, life could be so bad. Yeah, it's one thing to know that you're working towards being a responsible and valuable member of the society. It's another thing knowing that you are not. Then when your the previous is your case, and then things are not working to support you, to support that vision that you have. It could be really frustrating. It could be really frustrating, and then you see people around you, especially your friends in secondary school, and university. They're all doing well, and you're wondering what's wrong. I know I'm not among the smartest, but at the same time, I'm not dull. There's so much I can do out there.
That's right.
Yeah, and I think it was really bad then, but after I think for me the first major break I had then was during my downtime, was when I participated in a competition, an ideation competition in Lagos. I saw on Facebook, a particular organization. They partnered with the co-creation of that TC Hub in Lagos. It's a tech hub in Nigeria, and they're looking for people with ideas to help them disrupt the downstream sector of the petroleum industry. Right. And I know I'm really good with ideas. I'm really good at analyzing problems and coming up with breaking it down into problem statements. It's just how my brain works. I understand how to take a systemic approach to finding solutions. So I registered for the competition, but I did not go the first day. It was supposed to be a 3-day competition, but I did not go because I had very low self-esteem. I had no clothes. I guess I was the only tailor I think that lacked clothes, because you're barely making money, so you can't afford to just spend on clothes.
That's right. Yes.
And I had no shoes. I just had a leather footwear that was really. I was like, no, I can't go there like this. I can't go there like this. So I didn't go the first day. Then in the evening, I checked the Facebook page. I saw they uploaded pictures of, participants, and I was like, oh, can I do this? David, can you do this? So I just summoned the courage and said, okay, if it's what I can do, let me just go. Like, if people laugh at me, like, it's fine, but let me just go and experience this. This is like going to be the first opportunity outside what my conventional life, which is wake up in the morning, start making clothes till late in the night, then close, then just sleep on the floor. So I was like, this is an opportunity for me. So I actually went, and when I got there, I was really embarrassed. I saw people with their laptops, their MacBooks, and I didn't have a laptop. I was looking at that. They were all well dressed. I was like, God, David, what did you come here to do? Like, you're not supposed to be here. This is not for you. But I decided to just wait. My plan was, okay, after today, I'm not going to come for like the last. I'm just going to sit here, and after it's over, like it's over. So eventually, I came up with an idea, and to just wrap it up, I eventually came out second in the competition, and it came with I came out second, and it came with some prize money. Yeah, and it was not so much, but it gave me the boost. Like, wow, David, you could do this.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, okay. And then there was another competition I applied, and I went there, and that was organized by Lafarge. I'm sure you know Lafarge.
Yes,
into construction and all of that. So you had all of their expatriates, from different parts of the world come over to Lagos, in search of ideas. So they gave us, real confidential data, which we analyzed. And then when I made my presentation about what they could do after analyzing, their data and all of that, and they were so impressed. They were like, wow, why did we not think about this? So I was like, wow, okay, this is good. This is good. This is good. I think there's so much more I can be than, just being a tailor, and then I made up my mind one day that I was not going to make clothes anymore.
Yeah, I think that's already something that is a message. I mean, go for it.
Yeah, I had no other alternative source of income. And so when a couple of people around me, I told them I was not going to make clothes anymore. I want to go. Are you okay? You can't do that. Like, I'm like, no. I know I can be more. It's going to be really difficult, but I know I can be more. I know I can offer more. And so what happened was I just, stopped making clothes. And I went down to the co-creation of where the competition was held twice. And I started sitting at the rooftop. So they have a rooftop that's open, to, visitors, to just sit down there. And I was able to, liaise with one of the members, and so he just gave me access to the Wi-Fi. So I was there, with my phone, just browsing, learning, reading, taking on free online courses about business planning, about sustainable development, just trying to catch up with what's happening in the world. And then it was then I knew that, oh, wow, like there's so much happening that I could actually do, but I've not been keeping tabs on. So I came up with an idea of, okay, why don't I start writing business plans for people? First of all, it has to do with ideas, and I'm really good with ideas. So I registered the business name in Nigeria. I started, putting out there if you need business plans. So I started writing business plans for as low as, 5,000 naira, 7,000, when usually people pay about, say, maybe 150,000, 200,000. But I was like paid because I just wanted to do it. Like, it was my escape. Like, that was my escape from where I'm from. It was my escape. And I started doing it, and people noticed that I was really good at it, and because it's cheap, you don't get people who make business plans for 7,000, for 5,000. I had so many referrals. People started calling, and we heard about you. And I would tell them, okay, yes, my office is at CC Hub, you can come back to CC Hub, and they will come to the co-creation hub, and I'll take them to the rooftop. And the rooftop was a public space. Little did they know that I had no access to the building. I was just, trying to survive. And they'll come, we'll have meetings, and they'll be impressed. And that was how I started making little money, little funds. And then I remembered that during that homeless phase, one thing came to my mind. Like, I don't see any reason why any human being should have the intention, it's a sincere intention to create value positive value to their communities and then be deprived of it or lack the right infrastructure, the right systems to support that individual. I feel like for me, that's the greatest, abuse or limitation of our human rights. Our human right does not begin with access to water, food. No, it begins with ensuring that we all have all it takes. We are not denied of the opportunity to bring out that there's this greatness that is within each and every one of us. Ignorance is not an excuse, right? Everyone has an intention to do good, to want to contribute something to the society. Nobody should be deprived of the opportunity. And so what I decided to do while I was making little funds was I started traveling to rural communities across Nigeria. Just take my bag from the kiosk where I was living. I'll just close up. And it's when I get to the park, I decide where I want to travel to. Yeah. So I get to the bus park and I say, I want to travel to the north. And I just get a ticket to the north. There are days when I don't have money for the hotels. I'd have to sleep at the bus park in these states. So I'll travel to these states, then, ask them for a rural community where people are suffering. And they're like, oh, this place, people suffer there. Ask for directions. I'll go to this community. And then I'll speak with the leaders, interview the leaders, try to find out. And it was then my interest started building in inclusion, inclusive development, marginalization, I was like, wow, like this is a big problem. And I met many talented young kids, and I knew that, wow, okay, this is something I think I want to spend the rest of my life doing, trying to bridge that gap. Nobody should have to suffer this. Then I had little understanding about the SDGs, United Nations SDGs, and all of that. Very little understanding. But I'd already said the mantra, the mandate, that no African should be left behind. It was later on I got to know about the No One Left Behind slogan of the. I was like, okay, so since the United Nations are working on that, they like to just key into it and let's see what we could create for the people. So the little money I had, I would write business plans for people. I would save up the money. All of the money, I'll travel down to a community, go there for research, document the research, come back. I didn't know how I was going to, what I was going to use the data for, but I was just doing it. And, I'll come back home. When I get back home, I'll go through the data, just try to have an understanding of what inclusion is. And then I started this organization. Salt House was formerly called Salt Talk Africa. So I opened the WhatsApp. Yeah, it was called Salt Talk Africa before. So I opened the WhatsApp
That's
group.
a good name.
Yeah. And I opened the WhatsApp group where I started reaching out to some persons in the development space on Facebook and begged them to, I was always pleading with them to come speak on and, talk to people on my WhatsApp group on developments and that was it. Over time, from there, we had our first live event from the WhatsApp group. Where we invited speakers to, I saved up money for the transportation, logistics, feeding, and all of those things. And after that event, I was even in debt, not even just, I was in debt. And, but it was a thing of joy, like seeing that something like, my passion, something I'm really passionate about is coming to life. People are actually believing in my vision. People believe in what it is I preach, which is ensuring that no one should be left behind, that no one should be judged based on their ethnicity, their religion, their political beliefs. Everyone deserves an opportunity to become valuable members of their society. And on no account, we don't have a reason. We don't have an excuse not to ensure that happens. And so that was it. That was how I became, people started talking about David, we organized several events, and wow, it's really emotional, like.
That was the revelation time, right?
It was an awakening moment. And for the first time in my life, I felt, it's not about, success, but it's about value.
It's about value all the time. Yes.
If I had continued chasing personal success, I would not be here today. I'm so sure of that. I'm so sure of that. And so we started growing. With the support of, my family members. They don't really have much, but with the support of my family members, they were able to, get some form of financial support, aid, I was able to do little projects in different communities, and that was it. And my life kicked off for me. That was when I was born. That was when I was born, and
that was a very nice. It's a struggle, but it's still a very nice way to evolve, I would say.
Honestly, because I never thought I could survive through. I never thought I could see the end of 2017. I never thought I could see the end of 2018. This is my life, I just thought I was just waiting for it to end. I thought that was it. That was it. I thought that was it. Well, it's actually. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the thing because like what I've learned is, God would allow certain things happen to you to refine you, to open you up to what He created you for. Those things may hurt you, but they won't destroy you. They'll just, open you up to God's plan for your life. And I'm glad that I was able to go through that phase and not abuse that privilege, by taking my own life. And it's something I'm grateful for eternally. It's something I'm grateful for.
Do you think that competition was the game changer for you? The first competition you went while thinking that you don't have shoes or anything?
Yeah, it was. Like, I remember doing the presentation and I was dressed. I wore the same. For Friday and Saturday, the 2 days, I actually went on the same clothes, but practically, like, that's all I had. I went on the same clothes, the same shoes. So I'm sure some people must have wondered, like, did this sleep here? Like, why is it not changed and all of that? And I did my presentation looking that way. And after my presentation, everyone, jammed their hands. They were so excited, like, wow, this can work, And so that competition was an awakening moment. Like, wow, David, you can actually offer value to other people aside from yourself. There's something that you have in here that would be beneficial to the world at large. Even people that you may never meet. And I was like, wow. And I started, studying all of the wealthiest people in the world. And then I noticed the trend. They were not wealthy or famous because of the fact that they created something that generates revenue. No, because they created value. They created systems that empower people to accomplish greater things in their own personal lives. So you cannot really quantify the impact of the value that they create. Like my friend would say, like if you can actually count the people that the value you create has impacted, then you've not really done much. And I think that's the case for them. That's why I just wanted to be about, and that was why I got the name. So even most people know me by Salt. They call me Salt, and that's how I got the name Salt. Yeah. Because I just wanted to create value. Everywhere I made that my mantra. Anywhere I am, the first thing I'm looking out for is what can I offer? Definitely. I'm not here for the opportunities that you have. I'm not here for the materialistic, provision. I'm here to understand what do you need what gap can I fill right now? Yeah, what can I do? And that has actually been opening ways for me. I guess that has been paving ways for me, like for years, like to come till now. It's been people, and I think that has really been pivotal to my success. Have I achieved much? Maybe not. Compared to where I'm coming from, like it's a huge shift. So I would say I've been successful in a bit, but for me, it's the service. It's the service that has paved way for new opportunities for me. Yeah, the service, because you just serve, it's a cycle. When you serve, you have access to responsibilities. These responsibilities eventually make you a leader in these different spaces. And then as a leader, you're expected to do more. The expectations, give birth to visions, and then the visions give birth to. So it's a circle. It's a circle. More service, a lot of more responsibilities. The leadership. It's a circle. And that's where I find myself here today. So I remember then, every Sunday I had a ritual on Sundays. As funny as it sounds, every Sunday I would always go to the airport. That's the international airport.
To the airport.
Yeah, I would go to the international
airport. I think
airport.
I know why.
You can imagine, okay, I guess so now. So I'll go to the international airport and just, I will be well dressed.
Yes.
with although when you look at from my ankle down, it's not pretty because that was all I had. I had no shoes then.
That's right.
But I would be well dressed, just wear my best of clothes, which is exactly what I wore for the competition I participated in. And then I would go to the airport and just sit there and watch arrivals and departures. And just listen to the sound of the airplanes landing and taking off. That was the closest I'd ever been to an airplane. So I was like, wow. Yeah. You see people traveling. You see these young guys. They're traveling and they come out with their suits. Their handbag, and you can tell that that they're not just any old travelers. They're not just the regular travelers. They're going out there for a mission, for work. And I was like, that's me. That can be me. Maybe that can be you. I had no passport then. I don't even think I knew the process of booking for a flight. I didn't know, but I just knew that it was a ritual. I would go there. Sometimes I have conversations with people who are about traveling that just come out for a smoke, and then I would talk to them, about, wow, so where are you traveling to? They'll tell you. I'm like, wow, like one day I really want to travel. And there was a day I met with a man traveling to France. He was waiting for his KLM flight was delayed, and then he came out for a smoke, and then he was speaking to me as though I was traveling. And I was like, oh, young man, was your flight delayed as well? Why is Nigeria like? And I was there looking at him like, only if he knew that, this young man standing here is. Eventually, I told him that, okay, I'm not traveling. I just come here often, just to watch people travel. And the man was impressed. I felt like telling him, oh, while you're traveling, can I just accompany you to the airplane? I don't mind standing, I'll stand in the airplane. Yeah. I'm not going to inconvenience anyone. And that was it. That was a ritual for me. And all of those things, at times I would take long walks for 3 hours, 4 hours to, there's a place. Lagos Island is like the wealthiest. That's where you find the wealthiest people in Lagos.
That's right.
And I'll go to Lagos Island, the Ikoyi region. I would just take a walk, long walks from Ikoyi down to Lake Phase 1, just looking at houses and like, wow, like the person that owns this doesn't have 2 heads. Give it, you can become something, you can do this. And these are rituals that when people eventually got to find out, they actually laughed at me. So many people mocked me. And people laughed me to scorn, I stopped telling people about it. Whenever they ask, so where were you yesterday? I just tell them something else. Because it was, but for me, those things, actually, those experiences, they meant the world to me.
That's right. They gave you a purpose to somehow think, you just you don't have to travel, but you can get the travel inspiration.
Inspiration,
and then
exactly.
You start to think about how to make it happen.
So then, so I think in 2018, towards the end of 2018, that was when I made my first effort to, apply for a master's degree in Canada. And I had no funds. I had no passport or anything. I just applied. And I got the admission. But that was it. I knew that was it. Like, I got the admission. Like, okay, cool. Nice. So I could get an admission abroad. That means it's a sign. It's a sign. But eventually it didn't work out. And I just forgot about it. And then, life started picking up. I noticed that I was becoming so much more to the society than I was for myself. And it was like an awakening moment. It started giving me a reason to, want to keep pushing.
So I reached out to my mom and told her I would like to travel out. Well, my life was beginning to make sense. In terms of, I had 2 startups. I told you I started writing business plans for people, and then I started Salt House, which was Salt Talks Africa then. And so these 2 organizations were beginning to pave way because the organizations were not just focused on money. For Salt House, like it's been self-funded. We've never written a funding proposal to any organization. It's the money that we make from my other startup, which was Vision Control. I used to, service all that we do at Salt. So we're beginning to, make little waves. People were beginning to know about us, at least I think in 2020, the end of 2019, we were able to have, we launched a project where we were to travel to like 16 states in Nigeria to train 6,000 women. And we started the project, but because of COVID, we couldn't travel from March.
Yeah.
Moved it online, and then we asked people to register. So we trained almost 2,000 women. We got our lessons and said, okay, we're going to keep. So it's something I hope to revisit when I travel back to Nigeria. It's something, the project I hope to revisit. So we're beginning to make waves. People are beginning to know about. I told her I would love to travel out to learn more about sustainable development.
Right.
And like, where we should get the money from? Where would the family get the money from? I just had faith that all things would work together for my good. And then, once you show, which is a lesson I think people can pick, there are people who are willing to make bets and sacrifices for you. But there's something that you need to show, which is what we lack in our generation. It's called readiness. We often wait for the opportunity to surface before we show that we are ready or we are capable for handling the opportunities, rather than being prepared for the opportunity. It's similar to a farmer who, rather than waiting for the season, he's there waiting for he's just waiting for the season to come, or waiting for rain to fall, and like, so rain would, and before he starts planting. No, it's coming. Just, you need to be prepared, get all you need, and just be prepared for the opportunity. And then, as a result of the readiness, I now had so many family members started, thinking, okay, David could become something. David could, the way he's going, he's so ferocious, let's make a bet. Let's make a bet on him. And then I got a call from family members. They were willing to, give the little that they could, added with little. I had peanuts, and then and that's how I was able to, secure my admission here at the University of Bradford. And then I traveled. I made that trip, and it was like a dream. As a matter of fact, it was when I
went to the airport and you really went.
Exactly. When I arrived at Heathrow, that was when it occurred to me. I reflected back on the times when I went to the airport. I did that for like 2 years. And when I always go to the airport and sit down, and I was always saying to myself, David, you're going to travel. Now, you're not just going to travel just because you want to get on the plane, but you're going to travel, you're going to create global value, David. I said it. I'm very sure that I said that even in my sleep. I would not be surprised, because it was just, I mumbled it. I said even more than I pray.
That's right.
Yeah. And so when I arrived at the airport, it was like, wow, David, you're here. You're here. Wow. And then I remember I wept at the airport. I really wept profusely. Like I couldn't control it. It was like a breakthrough. And so I made that commitment, and for the fact that there were people who were able to place a bet on me coming down here. I'm never going to disappoint them. I'm not just going to be a regular, African who is coming to the UK in search of opportunities, but rather I'm going to ensure that I am the opportunity. And yeah, I started my program. The first effort I made was I became the vice president of a society at the university, and eventually became the president of the society. I became the student representative for sustainable development for the campus. Then from there, I was able to secure a job with the university as editorial assistant. I designed several environmental projects with the government, not just design, but we actually executed these projects, and it was really laudable. And that has been it, moving from grace to grace. And then to round it up, I was able to graduate with a distinction, so it was really, for me, it was looking back. You can never connect the dots moving forward. But looking back, I could connect the dots like, oh, now I see why all of these things happened. Because there's something God was just trying to align me to his plan for my life. Which is I would always say that my greatest fear is not death. My greatest fear is dying and knowing that I did not live, I've not lived the life that God designed me to. That's like my greatest fear. At times I think about, like, Lord, hope what I'm doing is what you want me to do. Like, I don't want to do something that people will be happy about and people will clap, and all of that. And at the end of the day, it's not what you want. So I'm really grateful for where I am today. So that's just like a summary about so many things, how I transitioned from my tailoring years, my homeless years, depression, to the awakening moment, going for that competition, that faithful competition that opened me to the fact that I could actually become something better than a tailor. I can become someone better than a tailor. I can create value for people,
definitely,
other than just making clothes for people. And I actually ran with that, and down to being able to being ready, available for the opportunity, and then when the opportunity came, I took it and I ran, and I did just run with the opportunity. I'm also making those people who have made sacrifices for me in the past, not just about traveling, not just about my work, but there are people that have made bets on me, micro bets on me, and sacrifices for me along the way. And today I'm actually making them proud, and they know that their investment in me, did not go to waste. And I guess God's not started yet. This is just the beginning, because I'm not where
this is just the beginning. Yes.
The beginning.
The more you create value, the more successful you become.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I've learned. Often, people are always in search of opportunities. You hear people saying, "Oh, I want to do this because that's what is in vogue." No. That's a very wrong mentality. If you're going there and at the end of the day you leave and we can't say this is exactly what you contributed to, to that field or that industry, don't go there. Like, you're not. How do you justify your existence that you're born to explore opportunities? Just look for opportunities wherever the money is, wherever the career prospects. You just and at the end of the day, you're out of the surface of the earth. How do you not justify your existence? I believe that if we are born and we would eventually die, then the justification for our existence is what happens in between these two timelines.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's what do you live here on earth? And it's not about living children. It's not about living a house or living a car. It's something intangible, something immeasurable, something people, other generations to come can build upon. It's about your ideology. That's basically what it is. And so it's been a mantra. Like, that's has always been my advice for young people whenever I have an opportunity to speak with them, even friends. I tell them, you could send David to the forest, and I would have no issue going.
Yeah.
Not because people say, what are you going to do in the forest? What are you going to do in the desert? Another. That's because I know where I am. I know when I get there is definitely something. There's a loophole that I know I would be able to. It's not about creating hope for people. It's not about creating hope, and that has been my mantra, and that has really opened several opportunities, numerous opportunities for me. People always want me to be part of the organization. I told you I just became an advisory member a few days ago. I got another call from the organization, and they also want me to join the advisory board. And this time it's a private institution, and it comes with shares in the company. Right. So that's just because of the mentality. They know that you are thinking about service, and the best virtue anyone can have if you want to become outstanding in your existence is to have the mentality, the approach to, the willingness to always want to serve, to have what I call empathy, putting other people first, the other people first approach, rather than thinking about what you benefit, always think about the greater good, collective prosperity, thinking about, okay, how would this be beneficial to other people, before yourself. And you'll be amazed at what life can offer you. You'll be so amazed. Who would have known? It's so like it's the time span, like from when I stopped tailoring till now, it's so short to the point that there are days I still get text messages from old clients I don't know where in the country. And then they send me messages and say that, oh, they have clothes. Can I come over to the house and pick up the materials, to make the clothes? And I'm like, I'm sorry, I wish I could, but I'm no longer. Like, is it like that? What do you mean? When did you stop? And you send the pictures and they're stunned. Like, how did you make that move? How did you make that move? How did you accomplish all of this, within a very short? And I told them I was just fortunate enough to have like my awakening moment, to recognize my awakening moment and run with it. When we started Salt Talks Africa, then within the space of a year, we had not celebrated our 1 year anniversary. Like,
right.
Yeah, I was still, most of my volunteers did not know that I was still homeless, that I was homeless. They did not know, they had no idea. And we had already grown from just a WhatsApp group. We had grown to, not just in Nigeria, we had grown to Burundi, to Uganda, we had Mozambique, we had, people, about 9 African countries. I've never been on a plane. I've never traveled to these countries. And there are people who believed in what I've been putting up on Facebook, what I've been preaching. And they said, oh, they want to run with it. And you'll be amazed, like, how people ask me, how are you able to get this level of success? And I said, maybe it's because I got my awakening moment and I ran with it. And, there's something about getting your awakening moment. Once you get it right, you're already in sync with the universe. And everything falls together, falls in place for your prosperity. Everything falls in place. As long as you don't lose sight of 2 things, who you are and where you're going, everything will fall in place for your prosperity. And that's been my story. That's been my story. And I don't know for how long I'd have to live, but I'm very positive that I will live my life so well, because I've learned, these key principles that actually guide success and value. Yeah.
And it is that positivity that gets you to the next level. And I have to say also that this awareness or awakening that you have just spoken about, many people can have that one. But if you don't respect that one, then it's a problem. Yeah. True. We are created to see other people and wanting to be like them. We fail to remember that those people didn't just become. They had gone through quite a long process. Have you ever wanted to be like a person in your life?
That's a very tough one, because it's typical for people to have like mentors, role models. But the thing is, there are so many persons I really want to be like, as and it varies from the wealthy and the successful and the celebrated, likes of Nelson Mandela, and likes down to the woman who owns a kiosk or who is a roadside seller. Because I get to engage with, in my line of, as a result of my line of work, I get to engage with the high and the low, and you find out that that's what's motivating me, because you'd be wrong to think that people at the lower end of the socioeconomic strata have nothing to offer. But you have meetings with them, you have discussions with them, and they say words that inspire you, that inspire you. And so there is no one in particular. I've met kids, young children, just kids, teenagers that are doing great things and that help me, refocus. Yeah, that's what I would say. They help me refocus. So there's no one I want to be like particularly, but there are so many individuals whose, as with their values and their way of life, their living culture, there are things I actually want to emulate. I've emulated so many of them, and we are still learning. Life is a lifelong process. Learning is a lifelong process. We're still, meeting people. We've had the discussion, and there are certain things I've learned from you, Conrad, within the short span. I'll go back and reflect on that. Oh, Conrad said this. I think I should start thinking about this or working towards it. So there's no one in particular. I just want to be me, and I don't really want. So many people daily, I get lots of messages. People say, "Oh, I really like what you've been doing. I want to be like you." And those ones, normally I get so many messages and I can't respond to everyone.
That's right.
When I get messages as that, I endeavor to respond. I tell them, don't be like me. Be way better. Be way better, like way better than I am.
Yeah.
don't use David as your landmark. Use David as your starting point. Don't think, and that way, if you use David as your starting point, you would be the better you, rather than being like David. Because if you use David as your like your goal, you would always be the second David. That's it. You would always be the second David. So, like, say, if David can do this, I can do better. That should be your drive. That should be your drive. So, yeah. I don't want anyone to be like, no, please, no one, don't be like me. Be way better than I am. There are certain values that I emulate that you would find worthy. Adopt those values and run with them, but always be good. Because the beauty about your existence is your uniqueness. The fact that God created you with unique skills, unique talents, unique interests and passions. Learn from who you can learn from and run with it, and just focus on being the person God has created it to be. You'll be amazed.
Yeah, you are the brand of yourself.
Yeah, you are. You could have mentors, but never ever aspire to be like anyone. It's either you're being better than them or you are not doing it at all. Don't ever aspire to be like anyone.
Exactly. No. Exactly. And that's very important, because sometimes people don't remember that we are the brands of ourselves.
Oh, yes.
And it is from us that we can create us. The us who are changing the world, the us who are supporting people. And I think changing the world is not necessarily that you are appearing as the human. How do you? You were ambassador of this. That change. No, one life is enough.
Yeah, it's enough. It's not so much.
Yeah, that one life is looking for someone to help to change. Yeah. So if you do that, you have done your job.
Yeah, you have. You have. And I think
that's very important.
Yeah, really important. And I think one other important point I learned is what we want to become is not out there. Who we are designed to become is not out there. It's actually in us. But as a result of the external experiences, we are waking those things, or our attention is drawn to those things within us. If what you want to become or who you aspire to become is out there, then you've not found it yet. It's inside of you. And when you eventually get to know it, you'll be like, it has been there all along. I just thought it was, my interest working with, persons with disabilities. From a very young age, my mom, she in church, she was actually part of a group in church that they pay, regular visits to the orphanage, to destitute homes. And I always enjoyed accompanying her, even as young as, say, 10, 9, for as long as I can remember. Every time they're going for a trip, I was always excited. She'd tell me I would always want to go with them. And I think I was the only child, like, in the midst. And then I was exposed to some of these things, some of the things that people go through, persons with disabilities. And then I was fortunate enough, my secondary school, it was not like really expensive, but they made a program for us that during every summer break that we would, we are assigned to an orphanage where we go and take care of the kids, and just so that we can be of the mantra then was Magis, striving for the Magis, talking about service, striving to be the best you can be for the society. And that was the program. And we did that. And all of these things actually shaping my interest. But for me, I just saw it as, just something I could, something I could do. I didn't really prioritize it until I had my first-hand experience of what these people you actually go through in terms of homelessness, in terms of hopelessness, in terms of being abandoned, not because you made the wrong choices, but just because of how the society is structured. So I think that's about it. That's about it. And also, if you're going to change your life, the very first thing that you should think about doing is changing your environment. Exactly. If I was stuck there making clothes, probably I know for sure I would not be here. I was able to make that huge decision to I'm not going to make clothes anymore. I'm going to go to the co-creation of where people who think like me are. even if they're more successful than I am, and I'm nobody. Well, I'd rather be the least person where I want to be than be a king where I'm not supposed to be, And so I think that move really changed my life. So I always tell people, don't change where you are. Like, you don't have to be recognized. They just go there. It's better for you to just be at the lower end. But if that is where you ought to be, that is where that seed would actually grow. Stay there. Forget the discomfort, forget the hunger. It was not easy. Well, not talking about it, it's inspirational. Then it was not funny. Like, you go days without eating, you just have to keep drinking water. It was not funny, but there are days when you would actually board the bus, you don't have the money to pay. But just because you want to go for a particular event or you want to learn from someone, you would have to start begging, the bus driver that please, get all sorts of embarrassment. But you know what it is that you're going for. So all of those things, I went through all of these phases just because I wanted to change where I was, change my location. So it's really important.
Changing the environment, very, very important.
Yeah.
I remember myself, I cannot compare my story. When I did my high school, my dream was to do an international education.
Okay.
And of course, all the time it's expensive. And when you ask your parents, they will always look at you like, oh, so. And then I just decided to go to the embassies. I remember, of course, the first embassy I went to find the school was the American embassy. And having Tanzanian coins in my pockets, when I was leaving the reception, the alarm went off. And
wow.
Myself like, oh my God, I am here. The alarm is going off. What did I do in the American embassy?
Wow.
Yeah. But that was not the end. And I came to a country where I didn't at all, I didn't even visit their embassy to search for education.
Mm-hmm.
But a person who saw that I'm very determined, who was going for an international education, told me, hey, there is also this country with a very good education system. And when my parents heard about it, then it was like, okay, this is the country. And I remember flying here by myself. I didn't know anyone. I was lucky enough, my parents helped me to reside here for some time. But then I made my dream come true because I decided that this is what I want. And I took the charge. Because many times we forget to be the initiators of our own dreams.
Yeah.
What will you tell someone who is somewhere living in a kiosk and thinking about impossible decisions for him or her life now, or not knowing how to go to take the next step? You were there, and you are here now, a PhD candidate. In different levels of participation. You have your company, which is moving well. Well, I won't be surprised after 2 years to wear a suit which is written Owumi. And then we have another interview, and you say, you know what? I thought, yeah, I don't know. I mean, nowadays people decide many things. But there is still that one person who is staying there, waking up in the morning, like, life is, I cannot do this. What would be the message that you want to give?
Well, if I would encapsulate in one word, it would be serve. Serve. Often we are always clouded by our personal challenges that we are blinded to, the sufferings of others. Unknowingly, the solutions or answers to our prayers is in our ability to help others, relieve others of their sufferings.
That's right.
And I think that's for me, that's actually what worked for me. Because if I had been so focused on, my business, let me see, this all I've been through, life has been so difficult to me. I don't care about people have, abandoned me, people have betrayed me and all of that, and I'd lost everything, and just turn the blind eye to the sufferings of others. Probably I would not have gone for that competition.
Definitely. Definitely.
Personally, I did not know about that there was a financial reward to the competition until when I got there.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I would not have made that bold step to go out there. I would not have started Salt House if I was blinded to the sufferings of others. I would not have started Vision Control if I was blinded to the sufferings of others. But it's that's about it. And often people don't understand because they think you're just trying to tell them something that's not possible. I've lived it. It's worked for me. Your ability to put aside your problem. See, I understand I have a challenge. I understand I have a financial challenge, but there's something I can do for other people to relieve them of their suffering. Don't think anyone people wake up every morning and they're looking for you to earn a bar of gold just because of the fact that you're suffering. No, the world is wired in such a way that only those who create value get rewarded.
Exactly.
That is how the world is structured. The world is not structured in such a way that anyone can hit jackpot. I don't think so. Maybe that's why lottery winners they never sustain wealth, because the world is not structured in that way.
Definitely.
So if I'm going to tell anyone anything, if my advice to young people out there, or even if they're older than I am and they're going through, for once, put aside your problems and focus on others. I met a woman whose child, had cancer, and so you would expect that a woman whose child has cancer, who is grieving, would want to focus on her child. But instead, what she decided to do, she's here in the UK, was to go down to the hospital where her child was alongside other kids. And she started putting together programs, for the kids, and for me that's selflessness extraordinary. Like I could not even think about it. You mean you go down to the hospital rather than focusing on your child who is suffering from a terminal ailment, you're focusing on other kids who are suffering from the same, and then trying to put a smile on their face in the absence of their parents? Not everyone will do that. And just as a result of that single act, it has paved way for her, to educate people about, the disease, about what parents can do, for their kids, and all of this recovery therapy. I don't know about the situation of a child right now, but for me, I pray the child makes it through. The greatest testimony is not the child making it through. The greatest testimony is knowing that the woman could go out of her way, despite all of her challenges, to create hope for other people other than our own child. That's remarkable. Now, that's exactly what the world should be like. And if you follow TED Talks a lot, or storytelling is really important. And this is why storytelling is important. If two persons come to you and they tell you that, they're trying to apply for the same job. Let's say it's a job in the health sector, and one person tells you, he has always wanted to become, a doctor. He graduated with very good grades. Fine, perfect, great. And somebody else comes to you and tells you that his father died of a terminal ailment, and then he made a vow never to ensure that he finds a cure to that ailment. Who would you give the job? It's the later you would give the job, because there's a story behind it. Now, that's exactly what the world should be like. That's exactly what makes the world go around. People will take their pieces together and still go out there to offer that pieces in a way that it's compelling, in a way that it gives hope to other people. That's basically how the world is structured to operate. You can't say, just because of the fact that my father died from this, I'm not going to care about anybody. The world is evil. The world is no. The world does not work that way. Your experience, allow your exes to shaping you into being the best person you can be. It's not rocket science.
Yeah.
You're poor, you have family members who abandoned you. Use that as an opportunity to go out there and preach about it, talk about it. You'll be amazed at the opportunities that it would open for you, the doors that it would open for you. You'll be so amazed. Pick up your pieces. All of these things that happen to you, most of the time they don't happen to you, they happen for you.
Definitely.
But if you see it like it's everything boils down to you, all right? At the end of the day, you're the one to make the decision. If you don't see it, you could see it as God being evil or the universe being against you. But most of the time, the universe is not against you. The universe is actually with you. But those are, there is no if there was, just think of diamond as hard as it is, as precious as diamond is. Think of the process it goes through for it to be refined to a point that you would want to pay for it. You want to pay maybe £20,000 for it or 20,000 euros for it. It's never an easy process. Look at gold. Nothing is not. It's not an easy process. So if you expect that you're going to make a transition from what you were born to what God has created you to be, or to being someone that will be celebrated in the society, and not go through the phase of pain and stress, you should think again. The person who is at the top of the mountain did not fall there. He did not fall there. He walked his way up there. So it's there for you to put together your pieces, put together all life has thrown at you, and just go out there and ensure that, make it a mantra to ensure that nobody else suffers what you've suffered. That's enough to give your life purpose.
Definitely.
I would say, if you don't know what your purpose is, create one for yourself. Just ensure that you have empathy at the center of it, you have service around it, period. If what you're doing has empathy, you're putting other people first, and it's focused on serving the people, that purpose can never go wrong.
Definitely.
It can never go wrong.
Because people will see.
Yeah. Some people will say, I don't know why I'm created. Then give yourself a reason. Give yourself a reason. Just make sure that you have purpose at the center of it, you have service around it. That's purpose enough. You can't keep living your life, with the mindset of always getting and expect to live an extraordinary life. It does not work. Everyone who has lived an extraordinary life, no one wakes up and celebrates you for living a life for yourself. You're celebrated because you've actually lived a life for others.
Definitely.
It's not.
I think that's very important.
Yeah, really important. But we actually turn a blind eye to this. We for example, everyone is always talking about, Elon Musk, is the wealthiest man in the world he's not the wealthiest man in the world just because he founded Tesla, an electric vehicle company and all of that. No, just think of the hope that he's creating for other people. Look at Jeff Bezos. There's so many persons who live off being, affiliate marketers on Amazon. There are so many persons who live off being fulfillment. These are the hopes that he creates for other people. So how much hope can you create for other people? That's right. A very simple question. How much hope can you create for other people? Every other thing is secondary. The wealth you're looking for would come. The fame you're looking for would come. But if you're not able to solve that simple puzzle of identifying how much hope or what hope you're creating for other people, you've missed it.
What happened?
You've missed it.
Yeah.
So I guess, as I say, too many words don't fill a basket. So as many that get to learn or get to watch this, I hope they're able to put this to work, and it we might be a thing of joy. If maybe I meet someone somewhere and say he's someone who is really successful, and he reaches out to me and say, just because of this that you said, my life is way better. That's enough for me. That's enough.
And it takes just one person to be
just one.
That's all what matters, because at the end of the day, this one person will impact another one, and the impact will continue like that. You are my fellow African, and I am I'm very keen on addressing diaspora as well nowadays, because we are also part of the change that we would like to see in ourselves, obviously, but also in our communities. What would you tell an African diaspora who doesn't know what to do, or who already is doing well and doesn't know what to impact?
So let's address it. I think I would address that from those who are planning to to migrate out of Africa. Let's start with those. I always advise people, don't leave your country for another country with the hope to get a better life. That's a false it's a very terrible mentality. It's a very terrible mindset that you're leaving your country to the UK, to the US, to Canada, with the hope that you get a better life chance. No. Always have, what's between your 2 years in here? Always have it in your mind that you're going out there to create value. You're going out there to offer something that they've never seen before.
Definitely.
It's I said at the moment I arrived at the airport, at Manchester, because I had to take a connecting flight from, Heathrow to Manchester before coming down to Bradford for where my university is. When I arrived, I said it to myself that I am going to create something that these people have never seen before. My educational background may not be a match. My my background generally may not be a match to, like I'm just a street boy who is fortunate to be here. But I'm going to make sure I do something that they have never seen before. And it's a mindset I've been running with, and it has been paving ways, helping me shape my decisions. Before you leave your country, don't leave your country today. That's a very wrong mindset. So that's addressed. Before you leave your country, just make up your mind that there's something that you want to offer where you're going to. You're not just going there to look for a job or going there to know. You're coming out here to offer something. That's one. Secondly, for those who are already here that don't know their footing, that don't know what to do, not everyone will become a famous change maker, but everyone can be a change maker. Does that make sense? Not everyone will be celebrated on CNN, but trust me, everyone can be a change maker. Everyone can actually drive change in their research in the most subtle way. Everyone can. So while you're here, there's so many challenges that you see people going through, and all of that. Think outside the box. Challenge yourself. I know you talk about, some people talk about, there's racism and all of that. Blah, 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 blah. You would not tell me that a man is dying, and just because he's racist, he sees that you have the solution to his problem. He would say he's not going to take your cure to his ailment because it's coming from a black man. It's coming from an African. I know that's not possible. That's not possible. So while you're here, create that mindset of, I'm not just here to just work in the warehouse or work in the care home. I'm here because there's something I can offer, something greater I can offer to the people to improve their life here. I may not be an European, I may not be an American, I may not be a Canadian, but there's something I can do to help improve their lives here, period, and I'm going to do it.
You will always be an African.
You cannot change that.
You cannot change that.
Even if you get a passport.
No, you can't change that.
You can't change that.
But being an African, you have seen so much that by just using that knowledge, you can make bigger impact in the destination countries.
Oh yes.
And also back to Africa as well.
Oh yes. Now that being said, now we've talked about people who are already here, who are just trying to find their footing. All right, that's one.
Yeah.
Now, there are actually 4 different sectors I'm going to talk about. The third sector I'm going to address is those who have come in, they've been here for a while and they've succeeded and all of that. Yeah, but they actually want to do something greater than just having a job and all of that. One thing I would say to them is remember home. So in my study, Africa, talking about there's what we call the Ibrahim Index for Governance, or Ibrahim Index for Governance, and you find out that so many African countries have weak institutions. So the government has failed, or the government is failing. Hopefully it gets better, but for now, most African countries have weak. So the only hope that the people have is those of us that are here in diaspora, in different parts of the world. Because we have the knowledge, we have maybe the capital, we have the resources, we know the people that would be able to bring about the change that we need back home. Not everyone will be opportunity to leave their countries for the UK, for Europe, for the developed world. No, not everyone. But trust me, we can create as much hope as possible for them back home that they may not see a need to come. So this is what I did, just to bring that into context. Yeah. A few months ago, I just launched $1,000 grant for SMEs in Nigeria.
Wow.
So it's me just saying, I don't have so much, but from the little I have, the best I can do is to, not everyone is fortunate to get someone to support them or to have the money resources to travel out of the country to get better education or to improve their chances of, becoming valuable members of the community. Yeah. But the little that we can do, we can actually send money back home. We can send resources back home, knowledge back home that would empower those people to be able to accomplish that much success that they would have gotten here. So $1,000 is nothing compared to the problem, compared to the needs, as I would call it, not even problems, the needs of the people back home. But trust me, it's a starting point. Because of that, one person gets that, next year we could be so blessed that we would say, let's do $10,000. In 5 years, we could be doing, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, of funding back home for SMEs to be, because I received, I think close to 2,000 applications in my email, to the point that my email, I stopped receiving so many emails jammed. I started getting, people were reaching out to me on social media like, sir, our emails are not going through. I'm like, yeah, it's overwhelming. That should tell you the will of the people to want to create something. So the opportunity that you have here, it's an opportunity for you to give back. Not just to give back, but it's an opportunity to see what what you did not benefit from your own country, from your government. You now have an opportunity to be at that position, although not being elected, but you have the resources now to empower people in the way that you wish you were empowered. And that's actually my message too. Don't forget home. It's not just about going home and building a house back home in your respective countries, having cars there, or helping just your family members. No. It's thinking about the society at large, trying to address some of these issues as little as water, providing water for the people, providing electricity for the people, off-grid electricity for the people. These are little things that you can do affordably. If not as an individual, you can do as a group. As a group, go back home and do something. Do something. You are the best. You're even more effective than the government, as it seems. So go back home and do it.
Definitely.
Go back home and do it. Now,
that's very, very important. You have said about the SMEs. I have next week, I think I'm going to kickstart the education part as well.
Oh, great.
There are so many good students in Africa.
Oh, yes.
And this is as a whole in the continent. Because the school fees are so high, and many of the good ones are also coming from these families which are not able to pay this high school. So they're staying at home. This is a person who could change the world one day.
Yeah.
And you might see that in the fees that they are required, it's just about
it's nothing.
5,000, 6,000 euros
it's nothing.
So I have a goal. I'm hoping that so many diasporas would follow this channel, and many of those students and alumni of the diasporas as well. Then I can start to run the competitions or kind of the profiles of the students who are really good. Because, if you have 1,000 diasporas and everybody gives just $1.
Yeah. You can
Someone
imagine.
goes to school. Not one.
Several.
Several will go to school. And I don't have to collect the money because I have a channel. There can be a school fee account for the university. So not even a student.
Yeah.
I have done that. I got an inquiry once when I had a student coming to ask, and I featured her story. And I told you before we started this discussion that there were only 4 views in the video.
Yeah, you did.
He's now studying pharmacy.
Wow.
Only 4 views. Who saw that and they were immediately like, wow, we need to do something for this. So I think it's our responsibility in diaspora. Of course, maybe nobody has supported us before and everything else.
Yeah.
But then again, maybe we were brought into the positions that we are in order to solve this problem or a challenge that is revolving around us. And I don't say that you can solve the world, but there is a possibility that the diaspora can really impact their home communities. And the SMEs, there are so many good ideas running in our home countries, like really, really, really good ideas. Yes, someone will not give maybe money, someone could, for example, give a knowledge. Someone could give partnership.
Oh yes.
There are some entrepreneurs here already in the Western world or somewhere else out of their countries who are doing well. In the same line that the home country guy would like to get some little knowledge. So these type of things, they solve quite a lot. And that's why I think diasporas are very important in this sense. And I'm really hoping that
that's really true. That's really, really
start
true.
impacting our communities in that ways as well.
Yeah.
Wow. I could run this interview forever. I'm already here thinking to bring a mental health specialist someday. That we can talk about the issues of life, losing hope for life, and how to manage depressions and these type of things, because it's really a problem that is evolving. And being an African, I have seen quite a lot of different types. The situation itself sometimes can let you decide to do something which is not right. But of course, at that state of mind, you don't know. It's just something that you think about, like, okay, so nothing really works for me. You look left and right, you realize that, okay, if my father and my mother can't do it, that means I am nobody. Then you just make decisions. But you are standing here today as a very good example of move forward, take opportunities. I interviewed a lady from Ireland. I think her video is the most viewed video in our channel. Her topic was tap into your possibilities, something like that. So I think you saw the competition, you looked at yourself and you realized, oh, I don't have clothes or good clothes, no shoes, but still I can go there. I think that was your turning point.
Yeah, it was.
That was your turning point. Then you realized there was a rooftop. Oh, I can utilize this rooftop. I can meet these people. Oh, then there is an airport. Let me go and mingle. With people there.
It's so funny, looking back, it's really hilarious.
So I think these things are already giving perspective in life. You realize that, oh yeah, so there is this part of life as well, and that part of life. So why do I want to stop?
Yeah, exactly.
And I think this is the best thing that I want to create to the community through these channels. And I really hope that we have more followers who can come up and share their stories, because it's very important.
Yeah,
but if someone would like to reach you, you already have a lot of contacts and social media details. But which contacts would you like to give to the public now?
Well,
is it LinkedIn? Is it?
I think LinkedIn. David Owumi, on LinkedIn. I respond. I try my best to respond. I get loads of messages on a daily basis. But if you're going to reach out to me, I think maybe a very good way. If anyone, they could use the name of your platform. Use that as a subject, and that way I'll prioritize. So it's not just LinkedIn. It is David Owumi on LinkedIn, and I look forward to having discussions with the young people.
Yeah.
We'll just share my story.
We can set those discussions. We'll continue discussing and see, because I think we need to bring young people here. I have more than 40 students now lining up, and I don't know where to start.
Wow.
So this is only an immediate number. I didn't ask them. They just came after they saw the girl to school. And they're all good. So we need to have discussions with young people as well. And I'm happy to offer a platform that we can really have a talk. I think they are the future generation. We need to have discussions with more diasporas, I think, who are willing and interested to push forward the wheel, on communities. It can be done in a very simple way. We don't have to start forming another company, diaspora, to start fighting about money issues.
Mm-hmm. There
can be, focuses of vehicles to develop they are possible. And I'm really hoping to also meet you again so we can discuss something to do with the disability,
it's always a pleasure.
project. I want to bring also Christina Chama onto that discussion.
Oh,
She's a very outstanding person living with disability from Zambia, and with her we have quite a lot of discussions as well. And her parents and
you know where to find me.
So
you know where to find me. I'm really
hopefully we can have this conversation rolling because it's really important for the society, not only the African society, but society around the world. Because, of course, we speak about Africa, we are from Africa now, and we know that these other people are forgotten. They are really forgotten. And there is a lot of myths and a lot of this type of things that we need to address.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. It's really been great speaking with you, and learned a lot as well while sharing.
Exactly.
I really look forward to being a part of your story as well. I can see that this platform you're going to be able to create hope for thousands, millions of people, and I'm really, really privileged to know that I am also, I'm just contributing a little part to it.
It's only with the little that can change a big deal.
Yeah.